Albano, Tournament Talk on the Tournament Edge for Saturday, December 10th. Andrew, we're covering Gulfstream Park Race 7. It's the $75,000 stakes race going 1 mile on the turf for 2-year-olds. It's a field of 14. Limitless, the 11 horse, is your 7-2 morning line favorite. It's Todd Pletcher. He puts one of his guys at Gulfstream Park on the horse, and Edgar Zayas. I guess I understand it from a connection standpoint, Andrew, but Todd's not going very well right now. And I think that there's other horses in this race, maybe even more favorable posts that you can find that provides more value than this horse. And I'll be honest, Andrew, I really don't even think this horse is the best in the field. Your thoughts on the 11 and your thoughts on the pace of this race once they leave the gate.
Yeah, sure. And, Lemonis does obviously have some nice pedigree for the turf, and I have a Lemon Drop kid, obviously. And you question why the debut was, over a third track, and this one obviously didn't want any part of it. Comes back, Gulfstream Park West, freaks on the grass, wins by 9 lengths, basically on the front end. And we spoke about this last week, and now for the winter that we'll be covering much more Gulfstream Park races. We talk about these route races going 2 turns, and the outside posts, especially when those outside posts need to get out to the front, as it is at many tracks. But Gulfstream Park is so intricate that it really, puts a burden on those outside horses. So for that reason, I'm going to play against, obviously, and at the price as well. I can see why this one's favorite. It's Top Connections. It's Todd Pletcher. It's Gulfstream Park. He's bringing down one of his 2-year-olds. Definitely could see this horse being growing. I can definitely see this horse growing. But at this time, I definitely want something that's faced better than just the maiden special weight at a Gulfstream Park West.
Andrew, let me cut you off for a second. You make a great point. I want to ask you a question based on what you just said. I mean, couldn't you make an argument, and you talk about Top Connections, and I get all that, but couldn't you make an argument that the 10 horse, the Chad Brown, Javier Castellano runner, I don't want to butcher the name, isn't much the horse to beat considering how good Chad's on the turf, and he gets Javier Castellano aboard, and this horse has been facing horses at Belmont Park. Third time career start. To me, Andrew, the 10 is the horse to beat based on how he's run, his running lines, and who he's faced. And the 11, yes, freaked on the turf, as you said, but who did he beat at Gulfstream Park West? Floor is yours.
Yeah, no, and back again, like you said, only an 8-horse field. Let's look at this concomitants, if that's that's where we're going there. First career start, runs third behind a horse that freaked, who is his stablemate Ticonderoga, that we see is blossoming to a very good racehorse. Comes back second off the layoff, finds a yielding turf course, but a 12-horse field, does it with fashion. I agree with you. I think this one should be the favorite. Out of this race, I just really want to take a horse that has faced more than just a maiden special affair. And you have that here, almost half the field, and at big prices, too. So I definitely think you could find a big price in this group. I think that, not questioning the talent that Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher bring into the year, but I know they're going to be bet, and I think you can get a great price elsewhere. Moving on into the pace situation, I thought it could heat up on the front end, definitely without a doubt. This 6-horse Santee Knows Best, who got on the grass last time out, freaked over. This one's definitely going to be out on the front end. Hey Mike, definitely going to probably be the most likely pace setter of the race, with Leperoux second off the layoff from Mike Maker. The 3, Salute with Honor to Eddie plus Paco Lopez. This one is going to be pressured early, especially with Paco Lopez aboard. I think between those 3 horses, you can definitely see a heat up on the front end. So I think, and I think you do have some horses on the outside as well, including number 11, Lemonis. But I think those are the main 3 players. So in this race, I'm going to try to find something that's coming right off the pace.
I understand that you said there's a lot of horses that want to be on the front end. Just because there are doesn't mean they're necessarily going to go fast. Do you see them cutting out fractions to where you're very confident that they're going to compromise one another?
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. I think you really have some. I think by far the fastest horse in the group is Salute with Honor, the 3-horse here for Eddie Plesa. And I really think he's going to be the dictation on the front end here. And Hey Mike, he's been tactical. Yeah. He's going to be on the front end. Maybe Leperoux sits him off, but he's going to have a factor that Santee Knows Best. I think really those 3 horses are really going to dictate what happens, and I think they do go pretty quick.
Yeah, I think Holiday Stone, the 12 horse, is a horse that might really dictate this. Now, again, that outside post is going to be very tough, Andrew, and you made a great point about the 3-horse Salute with Honor, who has a lot of gate speed as well. I wanted to go a little bit more in detail with you in reference to Hey Mike. Yes, this horse showed gate speed at a mile and a 16th and ran relatively well considering 160 days off the layoff and you get top connections in Mike Maker and Julian Leperoux. I don't necessarily think this horse needs the front, Andrew. Yes, went to the front at a mile and a 16th, but two things here. Cutting back to the mile, and there's other horses that are stretching out here. Do you think there's a scenario with Julian who tends to not get out of the gate, even when you want him to sometimes, that he can set second or third shelf and try to make that one run if he can get the trip he needs?
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, he has shown the ability to rate, but he also does have some tactical speed. And maybe he was pressured off the layoff, pinned on the inside last time out of Churchill Downs. He'll be up there, and maybe I'm wrong to say that, I didn't mean to say he'll really be dictating the pace. I think he'll be a part of it, but I think we're on board here with the 3 Slew with Honor. And like I mentioned, the outside horses, I didn't say their names, but Holiday Stone is going to have a big factor as well. But going back to Hey Mike, I'll speak more on the horse itself. I thought this was a very interesting move, and almost actually pulled the trigger on this one. I think this one has a lot of raw talent, having faced much better on the dirt. I think they want to get him back onto the turf here. Second off the layoff of Mike Maker. It's spelled trouble, so definitely a horse to keep your eye on.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I as well almost went with the 5. So without further ado, give us your top selection and why. I know you said you wanted something from off the pace because you think this thing's going to melt down.
Without a doubt. So my top selection here, Gulfstream Park Race 7, is going to be number 9, Nassau Talent. Really intrigued by this one, especially at 12 to 1. Breaking down this one's, recent races in the 2-year-old career, starting off at Saratoga for Joe Sharp and the Ramseys, finds himself in a very, very tough maiden special weight group. Oscar Performance came out of there, and it was just tough throughout. And this one was kind of pinned, and Rosario didn't really know what to do with this one. They ship him west to Indiana Grand, and I can't be hypocritical because I have said in the past I'm not sure how credible those races are at Indiana Grand, but goes to the front like he is the best horse and wins like it. Then they bring him down to Churchill Downs. The race is taken off the turf. He's an optional non-winners of 2. Gets crushed. Now I'm just thinking, this horse is not like the dirt at all. Keeneland. You get Jose Ortiz. Jose Ortiz and Jimmy Rico are looking for great horses. They find himself on this one. Cut off with no room whatsoever. Watch that replay. If this horse has the running room and is not cut off by that one strangling horse, this horse wins this race, or at least makes it a very, very close finish. I know beaten by 3.5 lengths, but this horse was kicking home and was cut off late. I like the dam side of this one's pedigree, and like I mentioned here, the 2 starts on the turf have been very solid, and running down late as with the notes. I was just transitioning there. Out of that last one, he's probably the horse I want to take most. I know I mentioned earlier saying that I want a horse that is not coming out of maiden company. So now you get Joe Sharp, you get Luis Saez, who we talked about last week, is a very, very strong turf rider down here at Gulfstream Park when he leaves New York. You get the Ramseys. We got a nice workout drill here, 49 at 4 furlongs there at the training track, 12 to 1. I mean, this is a price where you really got to go for it here, especially in a race where you got, the Leperoux Maker horse is going to take money, the Chad Brown's taking money, and the Pletcher's taking money. 12 to 1 sounds like an easy one for me here to take him to start off what looks like a great pick 5.
Well, Andrew, we've done it again. I'm on the same horse, and why even reiterate what you just said? I mean, everything you just said, I had exactly here in my notes. Did what he had to do at Indiana, didn't like the dirt at all, goes to Keeneland, runs the best race, probably wins if he wasn't cut off. If not, makes it a lot closer. I mentioned also who he lost to in the first race of his career. It's clear this horse wants to go 2 turns, and it's clear this horse's strength is on the turf. He gets a ton of pace to run into today. If the 10 beats us, he's going to beat us at short odds. I don't think the 11 wins this race. If the 11 wins, kudos to him. I think that number is a little bit inflated considering who this horse beat. I really like this horse. If the 9 doesn't win, I think it's the 5. I'm going 5-9, 5-9 all in my try. But I think at the end of the day, the 9 wins the race. And the 9 is, in fact, my strongest play of the 4 races that we're going to cover on Saturday. Nassau Talent, 12 to 1, may be an overlay considering the 10 is going to take money. The 11 is going to take money. The 5 is going to take money. And here comes the 9 with a 99 time form US speed figure last time out. And if I'm not mistaken, that's tied for the best with the 5 horse, Hey Mike, is better than anything else in this field. I'll tell you right now, Andrew, 15-1 when they go out of the gate. I'm going to bet him to win. I'm going to key him with the 5. And this race may make my day.
And I agree with you, Bob. And, we're reading it right once again. And last week we teamed up on a very similar horse that we thought was going to do similar. So hopefully we catch the same one again at a huge price. Nassau Talent 12-1 to kick us off.
So Andrew's on the 9, Nassau Talent. Bobby Shoemaker's on the 9, Nassau Talent. That's going to do it for Gulfstream Park Race 7 on Saturday, December 10th. It's one of 4 $75,000 stakes races. This one's going a mile on the turf for 2-year-olds. That's Andrew Calvano. I'm Bobby Shoemaker. And as always, good luck.
Good luck, guys.